Hi again everyone, Michelle Deck here in Branson, Missouri. We're here to accelerate your artistry this year. And we're continuing our series about songwriting. I get so many questions from people when I do my songs, how do you start writing songs? So I'm just gleaning from some of my songwriting mentors and some great resources. I'm by no means an expert, but I have learned some things along the way that I think will be helpful to you. So today I want to give you 5 or 6 things that are a good overview for a good solid song, lyric, and melody. These pertain primarily to the lyric, and we'll talk a little bit more about melody and the music side of a song later on. But to me, one of these points really has to do with the melody as well. So I'm going to say 6 points that are an overview of a good solid lyric/song. Some of these insights are from the book that I've been mentioning, The Craft of Lyric Writing by Sheila Davis. And some of these are points that are coming from things that I've learned from our songwriting mentor, Mary Dawson. She has a great website, by the way, songwriting resources called songstuff.com. Some great articles there that will be helpful to you as well. So those are great things you can check out. But the first thing is an element of a good solid lyric is a universal and identifiable idea. Something that anybody can grab onto, a universal emotion, a universal theme. And you can get inspiration for those kind of things anywhere. Newspapers, books, TV, movies, articles of any kind. I always find myself tuning to unusual phrases that I hear, and it'll catch my ear and I'll write it down somewhere. It's like, that could be a lyric line or that could be a title. Keep a notebook handy and find ways to catch little glimpses of song ideas wherever you are. Your ear will start to look for those things. And you can even create your own ideas when you're seeing a plot of a movie. Make yourself think, I wonder what would have happened if, and take the story a little further, and you can create your own ideas that way as well. The second thing that a good song needs is a memorable title. This is so important. That's what the song will be known for forever. It's so easy to go with a simple song like I Miss You or Baby Baby. I know there are some good songs with those titles, but it's not something that's going to grab a listener that's intriguing. Find a title that is unique, that can evoke an emotion, can evoke something that the listener can grab onto that's different. And often that title will be part of the hook. That's the next element that's important, a good strong hook. Most often that's your title line, and the hook also has to do with your melody. Most often it's the phrase of your melody that's most often repeated. Could be the beginning or the ending line of your chorus. It could be placed anywhere in the song, usually found in the chorus. But your title is usually part of that melodic hook that you're going to be repeating. And the hook is the part of the song that gets stuck in your brain. I can't get the song out of my head. It's got a good hook. And that's a good thing. So we want our songs to get stuck in people's heads. So thinking about your title and how it can play into your hook as you're starting to craft the idea for your song. The next thing that's really important is a good strong start to your song. Catch the listener's eye in the first couple lines. You can start with a question. You can start with something that evokes a lot of imagery, setting a stage. For instance, I know I talk about my Christmas song from time to time, but it's one that's fresh on my mind. We just passed the Christmas season. But the beginning of my Labor of Christmas Love song sets the scene. The sweet smell of cookies fills every room. The kitchen is quite a sight. It grabs you with an image, and you almost can smell the cookies baking in that type of scene. So ask a question, state an emotion, set a good strong start on those first 2 lines that can really grab your listener's attention. Another really important element to a good song is a payoff. The song needs to go somewhere. And to illustrate this, I'm going to do a few quotes from Sheila Davis's book. Lyricist Jim Webb says, I feel that building a whole song to the end, you have to draw some conclusion for the person listening to it. And if you don't, there's no reason to write it in the first place. For instance, we were talking about song forms, one of our previous videos, and in the AABA form, where you have a bridge, we talked about adding a twist, doing something to change it up at the end. That talks about the payoff. There's lots of different ways you can do it, but you can make a payoff depending on your song. You can create a question plot. If your song has a question in the beginning or your title is part of a question, then you'll want to resolve that. Save it for the end, build the suspense, and then finally answer it toward the end. If you have a conflict, that's one reason that sad songs, heartbreak songs are much more common and popular than happy songs. It's because happy songs don't have as much emotional conflict in them. So by having a conflict and resolving that at the end, that's real powerful. A turnaround is something that Ira Gershwin was a master of, what they call a small surprise, starting with something and twisting it a little bit at the end. Then there's a twist, can really be an unexpected jolt. This is an example from the craft of lyric writing. Back in the 40s, cabaret singer Dorothy Shay told the saga of a woman who was in love with a married man and determined at all costs to keep him by her side. The audience was taken totally by surprise to hear her announcement. This is the lyric: "Some things are bound to be. I'm in love with a married man who is married to me." That is a great twist. It's like, oh, she's not having an affair. She's in love with her husband. How sweet. What a powerful twist in there. You can have a suspense story. There's a great song called "The Coward of the County." It's a great story song. In the beginning, it alludes a little bit to, I think they were describing this guy wrong. They had him all wrong, even though they call him the coward of the county. Toward the end of the song, it totally changes it up, and he's not a coward at all. That is a story song that builds with suspense toward a payoff with that kind of a twist. It's a story song. So there's so many different kinds of songs and different ways you can create a payoff. The main thing to remember: have your song with a plot and take it somewhere. For instance, this is a good example of the need for a payoff. If you went to a play and you had Act 1 and it was beautiful, Act 2 and Act 3 really were pretty much just repeats of Act 1, you would be wanting your money back, wouldn't you? A play has to develop a story. The song, yes, is a miniature, but it needs to take you somewhere too. Even if it's all a thought process, it needs to go somewhere with a payoff at the end, something that the listener can say, oh yeah, this is the resolution of this song. So I know these are all ideas, but some of these are foundational things that new songwriters, even seasoned songwriters, need reminded of, but they're very important parts to remember. And the last really important thing, something we've already discussed, is an appropriate form. Depending on the style of your song, it may lend itself to creating a different song form. So study the different song forms and think about ways that, with a song you have in mind, what song form would be best for that. Whether it's verse, chorus, AAA with just 3 verses, or AABA. Another song form I wind up using a lot is a twist of the verse chorus. It adds a bridge. So verse chorus, bridge chorus. I do that a lot, and the bridge is a great place to add that twist. Another thing about payoff, I've heard it said, and what I always try to do in my songs, some of the most important lines of your song are either, and sometimes both, the last line of the second verse or the last line of your bridge. That's where the message needs to be boiled down very concisely, and if you have a twist that brings the payoff, put it there, because when you go back into your chorus, the chorus means so much more, and that's a very powerful tool to make your song have some great impact. So those are some important tools to remember. The overview of a good lyric. Have an identifiable, universal idea that your listener can connect with. So many sources to find ideas from. Mary Dawson, my songwriting mentor, says the best place, she calls it songwriting university, is the radio. You can listen to so many great examples of great songs and glean ideas that way. But be looking for ideas wherever you go, and keep a notebook handy to jot down ideas. My songwriting notebook right now has 2 or 3 pages with just a title and maybe 2 or 3 lines. I have some ideas started, but I want to sit down and flesh it out. Have a memorable title, something that it's creative, it's fresh, it's unusual, that will grab attention, and a strong hook, usually part of that title, with a good melody line that's going to be memorable. A strong start, your first lines of your verse that will catch the listener's ear, maybe set the time and place, have some imagery involved. a payoff, that the song develops, the plot develops and goes somewhere, and an appropriate form. I also have a list of some great songwriters that you can study. These are songwriters that have written standards, songs that have been recorded by many, many artists over many years. So these are things you can look up on Wikipedia and get lists of songs written by these songwriters, and then go to lyric sites such as A-to-Z-lyrics.com. I use a lot of great song lyric sites, and study some of these song lyrics, and probably find recordings of them on YouTube. Isn't the internet great? It's a great university for us. Irving Berlin, one of my favorites. Dorothy Fields, Yip Harburg, first name is Y-I-P, Yip Harburg. Ira Gershwin, of course, know that name, and Johnny Mercer. And one of our favorite modern lyricists that's writing so prolifically is Diane Warren. Tremendous songwriter. So many great songs we hear. It's like, oh, that's a great song. We look it up. Diane Warren wrote it. Okay. Tremendous examples of material for us to study in any capacity in songwriting. So I hope you gleaned something from this. I welcome your comments, and please share it. If you know somebody else who is working on songwriting that they could use some great tips, please do. I encourage you to check out the resources that I've mentioned. I'm not selling anything, I just know they've helped me, and I hope they'll help you as well. So again, thanks for watching and for sharing, and we appreciate you so much. We'll see you again next time. God bless you.